The Simpsons have always been more than just a simple cartoon. Since their debut in 1989, the series has captivated audiences not only with its edgy humor and social satire, but also with its surprising gift for predicting future events. From political happenings to technological advancements, through major catastrophes and cultural trends, the show often seems one step ahead of reality. Now, as we move toward 2025, it's impossible not to look back and wonder, what else might The Simpsons have predicted? These are the predictions you'll discover today. In the episode Treehouse of Horror 23 from the 24th season of The Simpsons, there is a reference to an accident with a particle accelerator. And because of the show's reputation for predicting some events, many people began to suggest the possibility of a similar accident in real life. Well, in real life, we have the famous particle accelerator known as the LHC, Large Hadron Collider, which is the largest and most powerful particle accelerator in the world. It is located on the border between France and Switzerland in an underground tunnel of 27 kilometers in circumference, operated by the European Organization for Nuclear Research. Due to its immense scale, and also because of the show's reputation for predictions, many people started to connect the dots, saying that supposedly the cartoon was predicting an accident or something related to the accelerator, as shown in that particular episode. It is important to note that, although The Simpsons often include references to scientific and cultural events, many of these predictions are coincidences or based on trends and knowledge already available at the time of production. However, of course, since the show is always, let's say, getting future facts right, it ends up sparking various theories and instilling some fear in people who strongly believe in these supposed predictions. In the Simpsons movie released in 2007, the city of Springfield is isolated from the rest of the world by a transparent dome installed by the Environmental Protection Agency of the United States of America after a serious environmental disaster caused by Homer Simpson. After the movie's release, discussions emerged about the possibility of encapsulating cities in real life. Although the idea still belongs more to fiction than practical reality, there are futuristic concepts and projects that evoke similar scenarios. And, of course, as this spread, many people started pointing out that, once again, the show might have predicted something real. Some futuristic ideas involve using domes to protect specific areas from extreme weather conditions, such as sandstorms, severe pollution, or intense solar radiation. One example would be creating domes in desert regions to make them habitable by regulating temperature and humidity. Although encapsulating entire cities is not a viable solution at present, the concept inspires discussions about advanced technologies for protecting communities and planets in the future. And naturally, many people who talk about this subject draw a connection with the movie. In the episode Them Robot from the 23rd season of The Simpsons, aired in 2012, Mr. Burns replaces all the human workers at the Springfield nuclear power plant with highly advanced robots to save money. Homer is the only human who remains employed, but the robots eventually rebel against him and Mr. Burns, leading to widespread chaos. This episode is often cited as a prediction of the rise of artificial intelligence and the dangers associated with the uncontrolled use of robots. Although presented comically, it touches on real fears about the impact of automation and artificial intelligence on society. The idea of robots turning against humans is a recurring theme in science fiction. In the episode, the robots develop undesirable behaviors, rebelling against the humans on site, which of course fuels the fear that poorly programmed or misused AI systems could get out of control in real life as well, especially coming from a show so famous for its predictions. The episode reflects real concerns about how automation and AI are replacing jobs in sectors such as manufacturing, transportation, and even specialized services. However, at least so far, there are no recorded cases of robots or artificial intelligences rebelling or demonstrating inappropriate behavior. Let's hope that this supposed prediction remains unfulfilled. In December of 2011, the 9th episode of the 24th season aired, titled Holidays of Future Past, which includes several events, among them the fact that Marge and Lisa are chosen to go to Mars, something that is widely discussed nowadays. Well, the much-talked-about planet is currently the subject of various debates, and according to what has been announced primarily by an individual named Elon Musk, the intention is for humanity to visit or even populate the red planet within a few years. Could this be yet another prediction?
I love you, sweetie. I love you too.
There was a lot of talk about the years 2024 or 2025 for these events, which, according to some experts, is quite difficult given the current scenario. However, it will undoubtedly occur in a not-too-distant future, and the show ended up presenting all of it to us years before it started to gain widespread attention. In another scene from the Simpsons movie from 2007, Homer is driving near a lake when he spills hazardous waste, causing an environmental disaster that many believe might be another prediction for 2025. After filling a silo with pig manure and other toxic waste, Homer is instructed to dispose of it properly. However, in his haste and carelessness, he dumps the silo into Lake Springfield, which was already on alert due to high pollution levels. Homer's action makes the lake extremely toxic, resulting in mutations in animals and transforming Springfield into an ecological disaster zone. Many people reference the movie's theme, which focuses on environmental irresponsibility, to theorize a supposed prediction for the year 2025, given how much the planet has been suffering with environmental issues. The lake's pollution triggers intervention by the Environmental Protection Agency, which places Springfield under a giant dome to contain the contamination, as mentioned earlier, something that could also be another prediction. All of this leads to the citizens' revolt against Homer and shapes the rest of the plot. Episode 18 of the 10th season of The Simpsons, titled Simpsons Bible Stories, presents a series of biblical stories reinterpreted by the show's characters, where the last scene depicts what would be the end of the world through an apocalypse. That scene sparked discussions and theories about possible future predictions. The episode is structured as an anthology, with the characters dreaming about different Bible stories while in church. The final part of the episode shows Springfield facing a global destruction scenario. The episode ends with Springfield being consumed by fire and lava, with the Simpsons ascending to heaven as they sing a parody. However, the scene is interrupted when they fall into hell, where they continue singing. This final sequence is a humorous, exaggerated portrayal of an apocalyptic scenario, mixing comedy with religious elements. Although the episode is clearly a parody, some people interpret this representation of the apocalypse as yet another The Simpsons prediction for the future, possibly for the year 2025. Let's hope the show isn't right this time. In episode 25 of the 6th season of The Simpsons, titled Who Shot Mr. Burns? Part 1, Mr. Burns develops a villainous plan involving a device to block out Springfield's sun. The goal is to force citizens to rely solely on the nuclear power supplied by his plant, thereby monopolizing the energy supply and increasing his profits. The device is a gigantic mechanical structure that literally covers the sun, plunging Springfield into permanent darkness. Many people saw this idea of turning off the sun as a prediction of technologies that could drastically interfere with the environment in real life, or even some natural event that might cause our sun to go out, leading to our extinction in 2025 or another future moment. The episode uses humor and satire to criticize corporate greed and the lack of ethics of big businesses. Although it's a parody, it raises relevant questions about humanity's impact on nature and the manipulation of vital resources. However, any real occurrence of the sun going dark currently has no evidence to back it up, and hopefully, it stays that way. In another episode of The Simpsons, the show depicts the residents of Springfield using virtual reality headsets in their day-to-day lives, something many believe was not only a prediction of what is already happening, but also of what could unfold in 2025. Springfield is shown as a futuristic society where virtual reality headsets are used for simple tasks, such as eating, working, and socializing. The satire addresses the impact of technology on human disconnection, suggesting a future in which people prefer virtual experiences over real ones. A common scene in these episodes is the population eating virtually, which lampoons the idea of replacing basic sensory activities with digital simulations. Well, we know this kind of technology is already widely used, but still in a moderate way. Could 2025 be the year when everyone fully dives into the virtual world? The series satirizes the notion that people may become so dependent on technology that they neglect real life. This topic is indeed hotly debated, and according to some experts, it is a scenario that could happen if we are not careful. The episode Simpsontide, the 19th of the 9th season of The Simpsons from 1998, is often cited as a potential prediction of the war between Russia and Ukraine. In the episode, Homer accidentally triggers an international incident while serving aboard a United States of America Navy nuclear submarine, leading to a series of satirical events involving Russia. During a meeting at the United Nations, the Russian representative reveals that the Soviet Union never really ended, but was just on pause. The scene shows tanks and troops invading cities, as well as soldiers repainting monuments with the name Soviet Union. Although the episode is an exaggerated satire, some people have connected elements of it with more recent events, given that there is a notion that Russia under Vladimir Putin's leadership seeks to restore the influence and power of the old Soviet Union, which has been linked to the annexation of Crimea in 2014 and the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Another scene highlighted in the episode shows Russian tanks and troops marching, which some say resembles images from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, where large-scale military force caused destruction and displacement. The clip called World War III, shown as part of the Simpsons shorts on The Tracy Ullman Show in November of 1987, is one of the earliest satirical representations of global conflict in the series. Though brief and comedic, it sparked discussions among fans who believe it could be a prediction of a possible Third World War. In the clip, Homer is woken in the middle of the night by a phone call with orders to report for military duty because World War III has begun. Homer tries to ignore the call, but Marge insists he fulfill his responsibility. Meanwhile, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie watched the situation casually, not fully grasping its seriousness. When the clip was shown, the world was still at the tail end of the Cold War, with tensions between the United States of America and the Soviet Union. The possibility of a global nuclear war was a real fear, widely reflected in popular culture, including movies, music, and TV shows. However, since it never happened, the fear persists to this day, with many people saying it's a prediction for 2025. Let's hope they are all wrong once again. Although the clip mirrors contemporary fears, many believe it's not a prediction, but rather something that could happen at any moment, especially given the period in question. Nevertheless, since we're talking about The Simpsons, it's best not to underestimate them. The idea that The Simpsons predicted Donald Trump's presidency comes from the episode Bart to the Future, the 17th of the 11th season, aired in March of 2000. In that episode, Lisa Simpson is portrayed as the President of the United States of America in the future, and mentions that her administration inherited a major financial crisis from the previous president, Donald Trump. Although Bart to the Future does not explicitly show Trump in a specific situation, a 2015 animation based on The Simpsons depicts Trump descending an escalator during his campaign, almost identically mirroring real images of him entering Trump Tower to announce his candidacy. This scene further fueled prediction theories, since his presidency became reality in 2016, and now he returns to office, taking the oath on January 20th of 2025.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Back in 2000, when that first episode mentioning Trump as a former president was aired, the businessman was already known for flirting with a presidential run and frequently made public statements about politics. The reference served more as a satirical joke about his persona and media influence than a sincere attempt at forecasting the future. Still, it ended up happening and obviously drew a lot of attention. Another episode of The Simpsons, titled Panic on the Streets of Springfield, which is the 19th of the 32nd season from 2021, satirically addresses the fear surrounding food contamination and its exaggerated consequences, showing contaminated hamburgers that trigger a zombie outbreak in Springfield. Although the premise is comedic and absurd, it also reflects real concerns about food safety and outbreaks caused by contaminated foods, something that has indeed happened in real life on a smaller scale. However, many theories proposed by some people claim that the episode might be predicting a real zombie apocalypse for the year 2025. And because of that, the scene gained traction, as this theme is heavily used in pop culture, whether in games, movies, or books. While the idea of hamburgers turning people into zombies is fictional, it does raise real issues, not about an actual zombie outbreak, but about cases of food contamination, such as salmonella outbreaks in beef, which have caused serious illnesses over the years. The episode known as the Jetsons-style future is a segment of a future-themed The Simpsons episode, in which the family lives in a world inspired by the cartoon The Jetsons. In this scenario, advanced technologies, including a submarine car, are shown as part of the family's everyday life. A particular scene featuring the submarine vehicle caught a lot of attention, and many people point to it as a possible prediction of a future where submarine vehicles are commonplace. Could 2025 be the year we see these vehicles around? Well, we'll have to wait and see. According to reports, the episode and the scene itself satirize the way people in the 1950s and 1960s imagined the future, with innovative technologies like flying cars and submarines. The writers exaggerate for comedic effect, but they also reflect ideas being explored in the real world, which is why many believe it might be yet another prediction. A submarine car may sound like science fiction, but there are already technologies and concepts that come close to this vision, given that amphibious and subaquatic vehicles are being developed, especially for military, scientific, and recreational purposes. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.